Okay, here we go. Hey guys. So today we're gonna do the second conditional, okay? This is like a little summary of my plan for today, but we'll skip on through that and get down to business. So topic 2, we did yesterday the zero conditional. And I'm going directly to the second conditional simply because I forgot to do the first conditional. So I will come back to that next week. Hey, Alina, how's it going? Happy Friday. I can't believe today's Friday. So the second conditional is used to talk about hypothetical, imaginary, or highly unlikely situations in the present or in the future. Hey, Miss Tanneman, I'm good, thank you. How are you? Today was a really nice day. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Not enough. And my first class today was at 7. Can you imagine? Busy Friday, Alina. Yeah, me too. Me too. But it was really good. My students were amazing today, honestly. It's like speaking with your friends every day. I love my job. So it was really, really nice. Hello, Cassia. You're good too, Miss Tanneman. That's awesome. I hope you had a good week. Okay, so second conditional, hypothetical stuff. Hey, JC, good morning. Are you in Nicaragua now? Or where are you? Are you at home? You just woke up. Maybe for you it's still Thursday. Yes, it's still Thursday. Oh my God. You're in the past. We're in the future. Here it's Friday already. Like over halfway through the day. You're in Nicaragua. I wonder how the weather is. Good, probably, no? You guys are in summer too, it's true. So, second conditional, hypothetical situations. Okay. Unlike the zero and first conditionals, it does not describe facts or realistic possibilities. Okay, really important. Hi, 9:20, 9:32 a.m. Okay, cool. Awesome. I was a bit confused actually. The time for the match on Sunday, the World Cup, Argentina versus Spain, because they said it was 8 p.m. in Ireland, but like 9 p.m. at night. And we couldn't understand because there's not 12 hours difference between the States and Ireland, so I don't understand how that works. Yeah, so it's a bit funny. So it doesn't describe fact or realistic possibilities. Hey, Mr. Foster. So it allows us to imagine a different reality and speculate about what the consequences would be. Okay, so like second conditional is really you are being creative. You are imagining something, but this something is not the reality. At least for me, learning Spanish, this is the most difficult conditional for Spanish speakers and also for me to learn in Spanish, because in Spanish they have like a whole conditional tense for the second conditional, but in English we don't have this. We don't have a special tense for the second conditional. So we spoke about this before, to distinguish between the reality we are in now and the faraway reality, we use the past simple just to show like the difference in reality. JC, 1 p.m. final match on Sunday. 1 p.m. for you. Okay, it's 1 p.m. in Nicaragua. Okay, that makes more sense. 9 p.m. in Spain. Oh, yeah. 9 p.m. in Spain, 8 p.m. in Ireland. That's it, Mariola. Exactly. Second conditional is the TDAH conditional. JC, you're using another acronym now that I don't know what it is. You used one yesterday for spelling, grammar, and all this. I can't remember. SPAG. No? Wasn't it SPAG? I didn't know either. And this TDAH, you're going to have to tell me what it is because I'm not sure. And to die, but I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. You'll have to tell us what TDAH means. Hello, George Sand. What's up? Okay, so the basic structure is if with the past simple. All right, so it seems really boring. It is a bit boring, but remember in English we have very limited tenses. Like we don't have the same range of tenses as you do in Portuguese or Italian or Spanish. We don't have this Hungarian. Hello, Antonio. You jumped to me. Yes. Okay. So yeah. So it's just a past simple. It's not something so exciting as in Spanish or Italian. Si yo tuviera, si yo estuviera, si yo ganara, you know, very beautiful tense for, especially for the second conditional, but we don't have this. In English, it's very boring. It's the second conditional. Hello, Kay. Are you Swedish or Irish? Crying. Oh. Second conditional is ADHD conditional. JC, can you tell me what the words ADHD stand for? Because I don't know. Tell me what they are. Kay, I think that's so funny that you mentioned Swedish or Irish. You'd be surprised how many people mention this to me. Okay, examples. If governments invested more in public transport, traffic congestion would decrease significantly. So there you have past simple. Lovely. Past simple, and you have would with infinitive. This is our formula. Okay? How do you think? Mr. Foster, you can say, what do you think? What do you think? If businesses reduced unnecessary packaging, hello Antonio. Antonio, these are second conditionals. But the second conditional is often used in a mixed conditional. Mixed is always second or third and second. Forensics, hello. If I had money, I would lend it to you, yeah? But what interest would you charge me when I have to give back this money, eh? You have to tell me first before I let you lend me money. I want to know what the interest conditions are, eh? Forensics is very important. Forensics, I think you're a good businessman, probably. Hello, Guerrera. I'm coming. There's my main woman for this. Hang on. Give me 1 second. I'm not a programmer or anything. Now, how's that? Is that better? You're all ears, Antonio. Awesome. Yes, they do, Mr. Foster. You're correct. But that's the way we should read. We narrate or not read. It makes it easy to understand. I think I agree, JC, totally. Hello, Miguel Maldonado. Hello. Yes, okay? Awesome. Cool. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, there's if businesses reduced unnecessary packaging, they would generate less waste. So there you have the past simple, right? And you have again would with infinitive. That's the stuff. And then you have my example. Remember yesterday, guys, I recommended, at least it works for me. For me, this is a real headache. To try to remember this, for me, it's impossible. Okay, to remember in my mind this formula, if plus past simple, comma, would plus infinitive. But I also saw that with students over the years, the people who can remember this, it's a very small minority. Maybe people who are very good at mathematics or something like that, they can remember. But most of my students, if I ask them to memorize this formula, they have terrible difficulty with it, you know? So I think the best thing to do is think second conditional and then remember a sentence that has meaning for you. Like for me, because it's true for me. If I won the lottery, I would buy a farm. It's what I would do. If I won the lottery, really, I would buy a farm. That's what I would do. So for me, if I think second conditional, I remember my sentence, if I won the lottery, I would buy a farm. Then I can say, okay, one is the past simple. So it's past simple, would buy, it's would plus infinitive. And for me, it's a lot easier to remember that than trying to remember this mathematical thing here, you know? Let me see. I know you are, Guerrera. I appreciate you, eh? JC, it also works to have the sentence flipped. Yeah, like I would buy a farm if I won the lottery. Yes, it does, but you don't need to put the comma. Remember we spoke about punctuation? If at the beginning of the sentence, you must put a comma. If you have the condition here. But if you flip it, you don't need to use a comma, right? Hyro was asking me about that as well. Forensics, if I left home early, I would catch the first train. Very good. Yeah. Yeah, but the second conditional, hello Mezio. implies a dash of uncertainty and wondering. Totally, it absolutely does. Absolutely does, yeah. Because it's not very probable. I mean, I could win the lottery. I'm an optimistic person, but I also have my realistic part, which reminds me that it's very improbable, you know? Hello, Sunset. Is this file free to find? I just created this file, so I don't know if it's free to find, if somebody has already hacked my computer and put it somewhere on the internet. So I'm not sure, Sunset, honestly. Okay, in each example, the speaker is imagining a situation that is not true or is considered unlikely. Miss Tanneman, if I had money, I would buy a villa. Lovely, very nice. Where would you buy the villa? In Portugal? Or in Spain? Or where? Mesio, can we do reversed mixed conditionals like had it been so, this would be better now? Yes, we can, absolutely. Absolutely, I'm getting there. It's impossible to find this file. Yes, this file was created by me for the last hour and a half. Literally. Saska, hello! Long time no see. Where have you been? JC in Mallorca or Ibiza? Oh, lovely. What does mean sword? Hello, Juanma. Well, sword is a type of weapon that people used in the past. Mr. Angwer, hello. Espada. Thank you, Antonio. Thank you, Guerrera. You guys are the best. Okay. One of the most important ideas to understand is that the past simple does not express past time in the second conditional. Instead, it creates distance. Okay? So because in English we don't have a lot of tenses, we need to use like strange ways to show distance between one thing and the other. Compare. If employees work efficiently, productivity increases. So this is a general truth, right? This is the first conditional. Yes, no, it's the zero conditional that we saw yesterday. If employees worked more efficiently, productivity would increase. The speaker believes they do not currently work efficiently. Okay, and they're imagining if this happened, it would be like that. Notice that if can appear at the beginning or in the middle of the sentence, like JC said. Okay, JC said we can flip this. If the company invested more in research, it would remain competitive. Or the company would remain competitive, no comma, if it invested more in research. Both sentences are correct. However, when the if clause comes first, it is followed by a comma. Okay, Mr. Foster, I like it. Double-edged sword. Nice one. You have your own sword, Guerrera. Exactly. It's true. Sword and sandals. I know this game. Georgetown, I don't know that game. Sword and sandals. I don't know. Antonio. Okay. Hello, Jairo. Everything's okay. How about you? Are you having a good Friday? Yeah, everything here is good. Hey, I have a big race tomorrow, giant race. Oh my God. I need to sleep a lot tonight because I didn't sleep a lot yesterday. I need to recharge my batteries a lot. Okay, the second conditional is extremely common in discussions, essays, and speaking part 4 because it allows us to speculate, give advice, discuss hypothetical situations, and express opinions diplomatically. Very, very important. Express opinions diplomatically, not dogmatically. Okay, so far so good. Jairo, that's really nice. Guys, check what Jairo wrote in the comments. That's a really nice way to reply. How are you? So far so good. Awesome. Thanks for asking. You didn't sleep last night, George Sand. Oof. Sleep is really important. My grandmother used to say, Vikki, you could go 1 week without food, but not without sleep. I think she's correct. Take a siesta. I feel like I'm having a stroke. Hello, Sean. What's up, Sean? Why do you feel like that? Guy, why do you feel like that? At least you don't have hemorrhoids, Sean. Okay? That would be much worse, I think. Okay? Hi, Irina. Irina's here somewhere too. So, now I'm going to start laughing. Sean's having a stroke. Somebody else has hemorrhoids. Does anybody else have any other ailment that we need to know about? The words are turning into mush in my brain. Who? My friend failed. Oh, Antonio, no. My friend failed B2 exam, and instead of telling her to study more, I recommended your channel. Oh, that's so cute. At Sean, call 911. Forensics. If I had taken that fight seriously, I would win. I would. If I had taken that fight seriously, I would win. But you see, the fight is finished. So you'd have to say, if I had taken that fight seriously, I would have won. It can only be third conditional, I think, because the fight is in the past, right? It's not now. Thank you, Guerrera. Yeah. I'd say I would have won. Antonio Guerrera, I agree with you, because the fight is finished, forensics. So if you use the mixed conditional with the third and then the second, the result needs to be something actual, current, right now. And in this case, I think the fight is finished, no? You could say, if I hadn't started the fight, or if I hadn't fought, I wouldn't be injured now, you can say. Yeah, George San, I know the feeling, but we're going to practice them. They're not as bad. We can practice them, they're not so bad. Other things are bad, like inversions. And what's that other thing that we did? Inversions and what was that other god-awful thing? I can't remember right now. But mixed conditionals are not so bad. I mix only milk with coffee. Café con leche in Plaza Mayor. JC, now we find it more common to use the main clause first in spoken English, correct? You mean the condition or the result? I think the condition, like I would say the condition probably first. Hyro, how about this one? I wouldn't be here if it had been for my family. I wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for my family, Hyro. Your family helped you, so I wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for my family. You like this in Plaza Mayor, no? Forensics mixed conditional 3 and 2. Yeah. In Plaza Mayor is crazy, totally crazy. Antonio, okay, yeah. All right. So, compare. If governments increase taxes, inflation may fall. First conditional, a realistic future possibility. If governments increased taxes, inflation might fall. Second conditional, a hypothetical or unlikely situation. You recognize why I said that? Yeah. Oh yeah, the negative form in the second part. Yeah, Hyro, exactly. Yeah. One common mistake is using would in the if clause. So, if governments would invest more in education, the economy would improve. If governments invested more in education, the economy would improve. Okay? Remember that would belongs in the main clause, not the if clause. This is what JC is talking about in the main clause. And I'm saying, I'm referring to the main clause as the condition. Yes, so JC, exactly. I normally start with the main clause, personally. JC, for natural everyday English, you'll hear main clause. Yeah, thank you. Very good. Yeah, I think so. Exactly, I think so, yeah. But government invested more in weapons. Yeah, George Sand. Yeah. You should find out who's getting the money from the weapons, and they're usually the ones causing the problem. Somebody told me before, a student from Germany, that if you want to identify where the problem is coming from, you need to follow the money. So who's getting the money from whatever situation? They're usually the people who are causing the problem. For Cambridge exams, ask yourself, am I imagining a different reality rather than describing a real possibility? So you're hypothesizing. If the answer is yes, the second conditional is almost certainly the correct choice. So see 1 point about the second conditional. Can the second conditional be mixed? Yes. Okay, you guys, we know this. I'm pretty sure most of you. In fact, mixed conditionals almost always involve the second and third conditionals. The second conditional can describe a hypothetical present situation that affects the past. For example, if I were more organized, I wouldn't have missed the deadline. So if I were more organized is referring to now, and I wouldn't have missed the deadline is in the past. The speaker is talking about a present characteristic being disorganized and imagining how it affected a past event, missing the deadline. More commonly, however, the third conditional describes an imaginary past event that affects the present. That's what forensics was talking about. If I hadn't got in the fight, in fact, I'm going to write it. This is forensics example, which I like. If I hadn't got in the fight, I wouldn't be injured now. Really good example. For example, if I had accepted the job offer, I would be living in London now. Here, the imaginary past decision has a hypothetical consequence in the present because you are injured, no? Or you are not living in London right now. Remember that mixed conditionals combine different time references, whereas the second conditional normally refers only to hypothetical present or future situations. Okay? Let me catch up with you guys there. Hello, Saska. I would be here when you are streaming if I knew better your schedule. Yes, we are still on the surprise attack. It's like the lives now, Saska, are like guerrilla warfare in Ireland with the IRA. Like, you never know when they're going to happen. It's just a surprise attack, you know? So, yeah, we'll try to rectify this situation, okay? But keep in mind that I work full time also. Okay, and I abandoned actually, I was having a cup of coffee with my mother. I made the coffee. Look at the size of this cup. These are the cups that we have in Ireland. We don't drink from these small mini cups that you guys have in Italy and Spain. So you can imagine, when you give us a cup this size with a freaking, like, this much coffee, you can imagine how we feel when we usually drink from these, okay? And ironically, this says Portugal. So I made a cup of coffee from my mom because I went out because I felt guilty. And then George Sand sent me a DM, Vikki, when is the live? And I was like, oh. So then I said, okay, no, I have to have a coffee with my mom. So I made the coffee and then she got a phone call. So she went away on the phone and I said, I will go and check the guys on the live. So this is the situation, Zaska. This is right now why we never know when the live could happen, you know? JC, do not use the word weapon due to... okay, JC, it's got a good point. Okay, thank you for that one, JC. It's a good one. Yeah. There was another word I said yesterday as well. Yesterday... I'm getting derailed now. Yesterday, one of my favorite students, okay, she asked me, because she recently got 2 new puppies, a boy and a girl. And she said to me, Vikki, how can I, in English, what do you call a female dog and a male dog? And like, she could not believe me when I told her what we call a female dog. You guys can look it up if you're interested. But JC is right. I should not say that word right now on the platform. It's totally crazy. George Sand, each person who earns $20 a day, the value of the missile is 1 million. Yeah, that's insane. When you look at it like that, that's totally insane. Antonio, if I hadn't been so distracted, I would have met the deadline. Perfect. Hello, Lexi. She's looking for forensics. Guys, thanks, Nordic. You're so sweet. If you had slept more and better, you would have your batteries recharged. Yes, I would. Yeah, and I wouldn't be rambling now. George Sand, the value of the missile is 1 million, which falls on a person who earns $20 per day. Yeah, that's mental, isn't it? It's totally crazy. Hello, Alexa. Okay. That's a Latin American cup of coffee. Do you have coffees this big also? Really? Miss Talman, if I had accepted visa, do you mean visa with V, uba, con V, visa, tourist, I would be travel in Russia now. If my tourist visa had been accepted, I would be traveling in Russia now. That would be a mixed conditional. If my visa had been accepted, I would be traveling in Russia now, Miss Tanneman, okay? Saska? Where is he? Awesome, okay. And you can watch the recording on YT, because JC, I also know that I should not say YT, the full word. I learned this the other day, Saska. The cup Antonio, that cup of coffee is probably 3 times more than what a Spanish person drinks daily. I think it's even more. I think it's even more, honestly. You're welcome, Miss Tanaman. Wait, so one could say that the moral of the coffee mug is that size matters. Meme, where have you been? Why we have not seen you in like 10 days. And then you come back with this. This is why we love you. Okay? This is why we love you. Yeah. The moral of the story is that size matters. Look, guys, everybody can put their input here, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I disagree. Okay? And by the way, I never drink from cups this big. It's actually only a third full. I only use this cup for fun, but it actually hurts my hand to lift this cup. I'm accustomed to Spanish small cups now. I know, I don't know where Meme has been. We missed him totally. I don't know where he has been, skiving off somewhere there. Okay, alternatives to if. Alternatives to if. The second conditional is not limited to if. Several other expressions introduce hypothetical situations and are frequently tested in Cambridge exams. So, supposing, love this one. These introduce imaginary situations and are especially common in spoken English. For example, suppose you inherited £1,000,000. What would you do? Love that. Supposing your company relocated abroad, would you move with it? Okay, love that. Supposing. I used to use this a lot. Another one, imagine. Imagine you could speak 6 languages fluently. Which one would you use most often? Maybe like Chinese, Arabic, or Japanese. It came to my mind first Chinese, then Japanese, then Arabic. But I would love to speak some crazy language, like what they speak in, what's that country, George Sand, that I want to go to, that you mentioned to me? What's the name of the country? They've got the happiest people on earth. I would like to speak their language. I would like to speak with them. I can't remember the name of the country. Begins with B, I think. Imagine your flight were cancelled. How would you react? Okay, so again, nice things for you guys for level C1. This one, imagine, suppose. I think they're quite cute, so I wanted to introduce those. Some more notes here I'm going to skip over. So unlike the 0 and first conditionals, unless is not normally used as an alternative to if in the second conditional. Although examples do exist, they are relatively uncommon and most often occur in reported speech. Now, because I did think of this, how could I use unless in the second conditional if I wanted to use it, right? And I thought, if I used it in reported speech, I could kind of get a second conditional with unless, at least the structure. So for example, the boss warned him that unless he met the deadline, he would be fired. So I thought that was kind of an interesting one. JC, I think you'll appreciate that. Here the past tense results from backshifting in reported speech. I love this. I love this backshifting in reported speech. It's also pretty high level, especially when we use the reporting verb warned, no? Instead of said or tell, it's more like C1. Not from the second conditional itself. So in ordinary hypothetical situations, native speakers generally prefer if. If I had more evidence, I would support the proposal. For this reason, learners should usually avoid using unless in second conditional sentences. Okay? Let me catch up with you guys now. Can we use guess like suppose? Okay, let me check. Let me go back up here to suppose. Guess you... No, you can't say it there. Guess you inherited £1,000,000. You couldn't put it in there. You have to say suppose. No, because you're thinking of like, I guess, I suppose. No, oops, oh my God. In this case, we just start sentences with suppose, but you can't just put in there guess. And it's a different context, but a good question, nonetheless. Miss Tanneman, for me, English and Mandarin, yeah, okay, and Arabic, yeah. They would be my top 3, Miss Tanneman too. Well, not English, obviously, but Mandarin and Arabic also. And yeah, and Japanese. Meme? French language is actually a nice one. It sounds nice. Yeah? I have no idea what French is. Is that French you're saying with the L? I think that could be a rogue L that you've put at the end of this there. Because for a second I was like, maybe they speak that in Funchal, but I'm pretty sure that they speak Portuguese in Funchal. French. It sounds so nice. And actually in Africa, a lot of people speak French, and also in Canada. So and it's beautiful and it's so romantic. I like French music as well. Hello Alexis? Do you speak other languages? Yeah, kind of. The best one that I speak is Spanish. Hey, experto seo from Chile. Yeah, awesome. Hello to Chile. JC, even if whether or not can be used instead of if, correct? Um, mm, Whether I won the lottery or not, I would buy a farm. Whether I won the whether I win the lottery or not, you'd use it with the first. You'd say whether I win the lottery or not, whether I won the lottery or not, I would buy a farm. I'd need to check some of those out now. And even if yes, you could say, and I haven't included it here actually, JC. So even if, you could say, even if I had the money to lend to her. No, this is a bad sentence. I don't like. Even if I had the, what can I say? What even if? Even if I had the spare cash, I wouldn't waste it betting on matches. Something like this, yes. So even if, like incluso sí, yes. Even if I had the spare cash, I wouldn't waste it betting on matches, yes. Second conditional. Whether is usually for the whether or not. I don't know whether or not. I will go. But whether is normally for the first, no? First conditional. I think. If you can think of an example there, I can't think of one right now. With whether. Even if it rains, we will have a picnic. Yeah, perfect with the first as well. If the money wasn't a problem. If money, you don't use the article usually. If money wasn't a problem, I would. Yes, that's the second conditional. Yeah. But then you couldn't put in even if money wasn't. Yeah, you could. Even if money wasn't a problem, I wouldn't. You could. Yeah. Whether I'm blocked now, I can't think of an example with whether JC right now. Forensics. If I were free, I could have covered that shift. You'd have to say if I had been free. If I had been free, I could have covered that shift. Third, if I had been free, you would say, Vikki, please don't too fast, please. I would love to make a note. You'd love to make notes, yeah? Okay. There's also a video, Miss Tanneman. The video's on YT. Because I can't say the real thing, but you know what I mean. Guys, when I say YT, you guys know what it means, don't you? Georgetown, after work, Georgetown, after work, our boss was lost. Where did he get lost? Vikki always goes fast. Yeah, because you guys are very good, Guerrera. French, you got it. Okay, me was French. I hope forever. I don't know which hello, LeMay. If money weren't a problem. Hello, Julia. I'll have to B2 certificate on Thursday. I'm scared. Yeah, and you're Italian. Good luck. Good luck, Julia. We'll send you a lot of good luck, okay? Come back and let us know if you pass. Georgetown, if we have rain, we have water. Not our water, water. If we have rain, comma, we have water. Zero conditional and free of charge. If money weren't, yeah, let me, good job. Okay. Why? Okay, let me. Mr. Foster. Okay, you're asking him. Whether you came or not, I would still help you. Whether you come or not, no? JC, whether you come or not, I will still enjoy the party. Whether you come or not, I will still enjoy the party, no? Because if you don't come, I can't help you. Right? Whether you study or not, the exam is tomorrow. Whether you study or not, the exam. Yeah, very good. Whether you have time to study or not, I'm giving you an exam tomorrow. Yes. Cairo, is it better to say if money weren't the problem or if money wasn't the problem? If money weren't, you would say if money weren't a problem. Formally and for an exam, we should use were for the second conditional. subjunctive. If money weren't a problem in general. But informally, people nowadays are saying wasn't. But for an exam, we should use weren't. You come or not? Yes, okay. Meme, if you had $1 billion, how would you live your life? Nice. Awesome. If you had $1 billion. Phew. I would only do TikTok lives. No. I love my classes. I don't know what I would do. Maybe I would do slightly less classes and more TikTok lives. Julia, whether you like it or not, they're going to do it anyway. Is it right? Whether you like it or not, they're going... Yeah, it's correct, Julia. Whether you like it or not, they're going to do it anyway. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to do it anyway. Correct. Hyro, no prob. It's a pleasure. My sentence was the mixed conditional. It was 2 and 3, but the problem is, forensics, you said if I would cover that shift. No, I can't remember the sentence now. No, if I were free, I would cover that shift. Yeah, if I were free on that day, I would cover the shift, you could say. Okay, cool. So let's move on here. In ordinary hypothetical situation, I've read that. Advanced conditional structures. Several advanced conditional structures express the same meaning as the second conditional, but sound more formal or sophisticated. These structures frequently appear in Cambridge C1 and C2 exams, particularly in sentence transformations, formal writing, and reading texts. So, where to? One of the most common alternatives to the second conditional is where to. For example, if the proposal were rejected, the company would reconsider its strategy. So now we eliminate if and we invert were and the subject. We say where the proposal. So look, we've inverted these two. Remember we studied inversion? So you delete if, invert the verb with the subject, and there you have your inversion. Were the proposal to be rejected, the company would reconsider its strategy. Both sentences have exactly the same meaning. The second simply sounds more formal. Similarly, if I were to accept the offer, I would have to relocate. Or were I to accept the offer, I would have to relocate. So we eliminate if, and then we invert were with the subject. Notice that where to is generally used to describe situations that are particularly unlikely or hypothetical. I would have covered forensics. Yeah, you got it, Jesse. Okay. Guerrera, if I haven't attended these last classes, I would still think I could see your number every 2 pages. If I hadn't. Oh, yeah, okay. And you make it sound very formal. Yeah, JC, because I think it helps to learn, no? If you try, I remember my best Spanish teacher. I have had like 1, 2, 3, 4 Spanish teachers that I can remember right now. 5 that I can remember. The best one, his name was Pedro, if he's listening. I don't know if he's listening. But he was the best by a lot. He was amazing because he gave me a lot of like intonation. Okay, guys, if you speak Spanish, you will understand this. If not, I'm sorry. But it's like a formal way to say look when you're speaking to a class. So instead of saying guys, look, you say like mirad, which is like the way to get people's attention. And he used to like act it out as if he was in front of the class and say this in Spanish, escuchad, which is like, listen, guys, formally, you know, which I needed for he said I could use for my classes. And he, instead of saying mira, it would be mirad or escucha, escuchad. And the way he performed, it really stuck in my mind. So I appreciated it. So I continue to do that also. Jordan, if the company had a good strategy, the employers would have more possibilities. If the company had had a good strategy, the employers would have more possibilities, maybe, yeah, or would have had. His surname wasn't Sanchez. No, it wasn't Sanchez. No, no, no. Mira. Milo, hello. I got 179 points in my Cambridge exam. One more point and I would have had C1. Wow, Milo, that's awesome. Good job. Very well done. JC, I learned English reading back when I was 9 years old. Yeah, now I am much older, yet I really like that. Yeah, it's really useful. It's really useful. So if I were, many learners ask whether they should say if I was or if I were. Traditionally, were is the correct form because it is the past subjunctive. Hyro, was it you asked me this one? No? So it's the correct one. For example, if I were the manager, I would introduce more flexible working hours. If I were the manager, I would introduce more flexible working hours. If she were more confident, she would apply for the position. So in informal conversation, many native speakers also use was. It's getting more and more common. That's why it's confusing. If I was richer, I'd travel more. Although this is common in everyday speech, where is generally preferred in formal writing and Cambridge examinations, Now, if it weren't for, this structure means without. Guys, I think this could be new for you. It means without. Okay? This structure means without and is used to describe a present hypothetical situation. If it weren't for modern technology, communication would be far more difficult. If it weren't for your advice, I wouldn't know what to do. It is equivalent to saying, without modern technology, communication would be far more difficult. JC, I think you're going to like this one. I haven't found it in books, so I thought it was cool to include here. Let me catch up. What's happening there? Meme. I am learning Spanish by listening to you speaking Spanish. Yes, because you're Romanian, right? Meme, if I remember correctly. So Romanian is the closest language to Spanish. There's very little difference because Romanian is so close to Latin. And it's very easy. If you speak Romanian, it's very easy to understand and to learn Spanish. Guerrera, if the teacher was Andalusian, he would say, Mira cá pa cá. Mira cá pa cá. He is Andalusian, Guerrera. He is Andalusian, the teacher, but he speaks very well. Meme, were I to be manager, I would introduce more working hours. Why? Why would you do that? Maybe you should introduce less working hours. Lame, they used was due to their poor education. For less work, introducing more working hours could be. If it weren't for, si no fuera por, yeah, exactly. Si no fuera por, yeah, exactly. Did we cover assuming that? No, we didn't. JC, we didn't assuming that. We didn't cover assuming that. I will check this from JC, okay? And I can add it in because if JC is saying it, I believe that it's relevant, but I didn't cover it. Hello, Appa. How it works el subjuntivo in English? Very little, but this is one example. Meme, yes, you are, okay. So for you, Meme, it's going to be very easy. Probably if you move to Spain or Italy, you can learn Italian and Spanish very easily. You understand Romanian? Yeah? Yeah? Meme, no you don't. Okay. Were it not for you, I wouldn't be learning a lot. Oh, Jairo, yeah, okay. Heck, Guerrera, I could speak Spanish in Romania. They understand me, yeah? Okay. I haven't been to Romania yet. I want to go. But I have an amazing student. She speaks Romanian. And she told me a lot about this, so I investigated a bit. Mami, che guapa. You think that the teacher would say this? Hello, White Diamond. Hello, Mario. Alina, love it. Never again will I travel at Christmas. Very good. Never again will I travel at Christmas. Really good. Good job, forensics. Good job. Right, sir, I got it. That's the water under the bridge now. Let's move on to the lesson. Okay. They said in Romanian, front. We are waiting for your teacher. Sorry. Moving on, no? Hello, Rezi. What's up? Oh, you're waiting for me. Yes, okay, Alina. Okay. We can do a tour. Hey, I decided yesterday. No, I decided yesterday. I decided a few hours ago that I would like to go to Poland this summer. I was invited a few weeks ago, but I didn't go at that time because long story. But I was invited, so now I would like to go. And I text one friend, student, um, and I would like to go maybe this summer for a few days. Yeah. Mario, welcome back. We're happy you're here. You were on holidays. Where did you go on holidays? I hope it was a nice place. Mario, if you are Spanish, then Spain is the best place to be in summer, eh? Okay, next one. But for. So, but for has the same meaning as if it weren't for. It's the same. But it is considerably more formal. But for your encouragement, I would never have applied for the scholarship. But for government funding, the research project would not exist. This structure could, in advanced writing and Cambridge sentence transformation, this could appear. And in sentence transformation, and would be amazing if you could reproduce it in your oral exam or in your writing, for example. It would be chef's kiss. Mario, Cantabria must be amazing. Like me in Ireland now, everybody's complaining it's too hot, but compared to Spain, it's like it's just a breath of fresh air. Okay, next one. Otherwise, now, otherwise introduces the consequence of an unreal situation. So wear protective clothing. Dot. So this is not really, but okay, we could use it. Wear protective clothing. Otherwise, you could be seriously injured. Invest in staff training. Otherwise, productivity could decline. Although otherwise does not introduce an if clause, the conditional meaning is understood. So I thought that was nice to include there. Remedios, hello. What's this question? It can be follow, but for plural ing. I'm not sure now. I would love to answer your question, Remedios, but I'm not sure what the question is exactly. It could be followed by ing. I'm not sure. JC, I'd accept the offer. Otherwise, I'd regret it. Yeah, JC, you'd go to Poland. Yeah, I think so too. I regretted not accepting the previous time, but now I think I would like to go. Remedios, but for can I be followed by ing? Like, but for having arrived, we would not. Hang on now. Remedios has a question. But for finding, but for having a headache, I would have gone to the party. Yeah. But for having a headache, yeah. I need to check this. But for having a headache, I would have gone to the party. Remedios, I'm going to check this. I have a feeling that the answer is yes, but I'm going to double check this one. Normally I put a noun. But for the car, but for the traffic, we would have arrived already. I would normally say, for example, but for the traffic, we would have arrived already. But I'm going to check this one, Remedios, okay? I think that's a really good question, but I need to check it. I need to check this one. But for having a headache, I think that's correct, eh? But I want to double check. Me too. By a noun. Yes, you mean to put ing instead of the noun. Cassia, it's very hot. Yeah, I heard. Everybody told me it's really hot. Mario, next summer I want to go to Scotland, but I don't know if I'll be able to. Oh, one of my students is going to Scotland next week or in 2 weeks. She's doing like a language course in Edinburgh. Jordan, if you want to Instant payment. Please wear the protective clothes. Protective clothes? If you want it, I don't get it, Georgetown. I don't get this one. Okay, Remedios. Cool. JC, we don't. No. You are thinking, definitely not. JC, maybe you looked it up. We don't. That's not standard English. No, we don't use that I. That's not it. It seems the whole Europe is burning. Yeah, telling you. It's interesting. Let's see how the race goes now tomorrow. We're starting at 11. I thought normally in Spain we start at 9, but tomorrow night we start at 11. So, but I think I'm going to have an advantage because I'm used to running in Spain. So I think for me, I hope I will have an advantage. JC, but for is normally followed by a noun phrase, or pronoun, not a gerund clause. Thank you, JC. Okay, you know what we say? I hate to say to people, no, definitely not. Because then sometimes there's an exception, or in some English-speaking country, you know. So I like to investigate, but Remedios JC is saying that, yeah, noun, let's add this to these notes for the future, right? Look. Jay is saying, so, but for is normally followed by a noun phrase, or what else did we say? Or pronoun. Not a gerund clause. Not a gerund. Yeah. So, but it's a really good question. It's a really good question. Then you also have like creative license, and but for is all often used in very creative things, texts. So, you know, Mario, I went about 2 years ago, but I'd love to go back. Yeah. I went for Hogmanay, like many years ago, in like 2009, and it was really cool. It was awesome. So, otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, introduce the consequence of this action. Oh yeah, this is what you're speaking about, George Sand. Wear protective clothing, otherwise you could be seriously injured. That's what you were mentioning, yeah. Common mistake. So many learners write, if I would have more time, I would learn another language. So no. If I had more time, I would learn another language. Inversion, our favorite. So formal English sometimes omits if by inverting subject and verb, right? Now, maybe, guys, maybe we are going to take a pause here for today, okay? Because we've nearly done 1 hour. So I think we'll take a pause on this page and we'll come back next time, because I'm really enjoying myself, but at the same time, I need to eat something. I need to do a small run before tomorrow. I need to practice yoga to stretch. I need to take a shower. I need to wash my hair. I need to pack. And I think we will need to wake up around 6. And I didn't sleep enough last night. So, this demon again. Yes, my head hurts. This demon again, I know. We'll come back when we're strong for inversion, okay? Now, guys, I did prepare a type of ghost story. And I also prepared a speaking. And there's also a quiz. So, like, I'll leave it up to you. We can do one. Vikki, are you going on a holiday? Hi, Alina. Alina, I'm in Ireland now. I shouldn't say that on my TikTok. Ghost story, JC. Okay. I'm kind of on holiday, yes. Honestly, Alina, yes, I'm kind of on holiday, yes. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, you see, okay. So, okay, guys, we'll go for the story, right? So this is all the other stuff we'll see. Oh my God, I prepared too much stuff for every day, and this is why I spend 90 minutes preparing. And then, yeah, okay, so I should spend less time preparing, and then this would be easier, this process. Okay, let me go down to the story. Don't be scared now or anything. This is not, we're going to start off light, okay? It's not like, don't be scared by the story. Please. It's not a totally ghost story. I will get to some ghost stories. I read some today, but I also wanted to start off with this one. So this is Irish folklore. Now, I believe a lot of this stuff. Is it a creepy one? Not extremely creepy. Like, I believe this is true. But I believe this is true, this story. So for me, this is a true story. Okay? This is very, very common, what I'm going to tell you now. Oh my God, 1 second. I need to do the jigsaw thing to make sure The live doesn't turn off. Okay. Yeah. It's Hyro, I'm going to tell the story if you want to hear the story, eh? Will you have nightmares after hearing the story? I don't think you'll have nightmares. But please, you must respect the story because, yeah. Just be careful now with the contents of the story. I give this all my respect, honestly, okay? Now, there are areas in Ireland where, this is true, you can search for this is true. Imagine the council wants to build a road, okay? If they discover that the road passes through one of these places, you cannot build the road. You need to go around this area. You cannot build through this area, okay? So this is true. So like for me, this particular, other stories I think are not true. There's exaggerations of things, you know, but this one, for me, it's true. So, okay, here we go. There's an old story from the west of Ireland. So I'm from the west of Ireland. Hello, Ray. Here we go. I'm from the west of Ireland, right? Just so you know, like the southwest was as Irish as you can get. And my surname is very Irish also. So there's an old story from the west of Ireland about a man walking home after a few pints. So he had a few pints, okay? Guinness, probably, right? So he's walking home. It wasn't late by pub standards, okay? So it wasn't late by pub standards, but it was well after midnight, okay? The road home was one he'd walked hundreds of times. So like this guy knew this road. He's walked up and down to the pub from his house many, many times. Just a narrow boreen. Boreen is like an Irish word for a small, small road with a ditch, plants at the side, okay? Between stone walls with nothing but fields on either side. So nothing but fields on either side. As he came around a bend, he saw a house up ahead that he'd never really noticed before. Very important, very common. So he's walking home, this road that he knows, and he sees a house and he thinks, never noticed that house there before. Pints of beer, exactly, Mario. Pints is a big pint of Guinness, you know, like the Guinness pints, the ones that kind of look like this shape. This is called a pint. Unas cañas guerrera. One pint has like 3 cañas, I think. Una caña is a glass of beer. I think, unas cañas, it's like 3. I think it's like 3 cañas. Because a caña is like in Spain, it's like this. A pint in Ireland is like this big, right? Thank you very much, Lamai. Okay, so as he came around the bend, he saw a house up ahead that he'd never seen before. Every window was glowing with candlelight, so there are people there, okay? He could hear music drifting out onto the road. A fiddle, that's a type of instrument we have in Ireland, like similar to a violin. Laughter, people dancing. Then the front door opened. A woman smiled at him and said, "You're just in time. Come in." Very typically Irish, okay? Well, it'd be rude to refuse. We always say this. It'd be rude, okay? It would be rude not to. Have a biscuit. Okay, because it would be rude to say no, but really it's because you want the biscuit. So really it's rude to... So obviously this guy wanted a party, okay? So it would be rude to refuse. Inside, the place was packed. People singing, dancing, tables covered in food, everyone laughing like they'd known each other for years, forever. Someone handed him a drink. Someone else pulled him onto the dance floor for a dance. He said it was the best night's crack he'd ever had. Okay? The best night's crack he'd ever had. Remind me, I need to tell you a story about the word crack. Crack is an Irish word for fun. I know we use it also in Spain, but it's Irish. Crack. So this means fun, not crack cocaine, okay? The next thing he remembered, he woke up lying in a ditch beside the road. Okay, the ditch is like the plants beside the road. So he woke up lying in a ditch beside the road. This is very common also in Ireland. It's very common. This happens a lot. Okay? The sun was high in the sky. His head was pounding, right, from the alcohol. Head was pounding. He figured he'd had one too many. One. Laughed it off and decided he'd call back to the house that evening to thank the people who'd looked after him. Only when he went looking for it, when he went looking for the house, okay, there was no house. There was no house, guys, okay? Just an empty field. He asked the neighbours where the house with the party had gone. The people he spoke to fell silent, okay? One old farmer looked at him for a long moment before asking, "Did they invite you in?" The man nodded. The old farmer's face turned pale, white, as a ghost, okay? There hasn't been a house there for over 100 years. He pointed towards the empty field. That's fairy ground. Okay? He explained that for generations, people had spoken about lights appearing there on certain nights of the year. And this is true, okay? Music carried across the fields, laughter drifting through the darkness, a warm fire waiting for anyone lonely enough or curious enough to step inside. The old people believed it wasn't a house at all. It was an ace she, the fairy folk. That's Irish. This is an Irish for fairy folk, okay? Not the little fairies from children's stories, guys. Okay, not the little fairies from children's stories. These were ancient beings, older than Ireland itself. Beautiful to look at, but dangerous to cross. So if you do something bad to a fairy, we're not talking about Peter Pan's friend, okay? They were said to lure. Lure is like to draw you in, okay? To lure. They were said to lure travelers into dancing, feasting, and drinking until they forgot the world they came from. The man laughed. It was only one night. The farmer shook his head. That's what you remember. Then he asked him one last question. What song were they playing when you left? The man opened his mouth and realized he couldn't remember a single face. Not one name, not one tune. Only the feeling that he'd been there for longer than a few hours. The old farmer quietly said, "Count yourself lucky." Some who accepted the fairy's invitation were never seen again. True story. Others came home to find years had passed while they thought they'd been away for a single night. I have more to say about this. Okay? I have more to say about this. This will be the next. I have a lot of evidence about this. Okay? A single night. And some returned, but they were never quite the same. The man never walked that road after dark again. And even years later, if anyone mentioned hearing music across the field at night, he would stand up, wish them good luck, and go straight home. The fairy folk, ace she. So this is one of Ireland's oldest ace she legends. Folklorists generally refer to these as fairy revels, fairy dance, the fairy feast, or fairy abduction tales. They're part of the wider tradition of fairy fort and fairy wrath legends. One famous version of this story was collected by the Irish folklorist Thomas Crafton Croker in the early 1800s. So there are people dedicated to this work, okay? And similar stories were later recorded by the Irish Folklore Commission from storytellers all over the country. The details change from county to county, but the warnings stay the same. Never accept food, drink, or an invitation from the fairy folk. That was one of the strongest supernatural taboos in Irish folklore. Once you accepted their hospitality, you were said to be under their power, and getting home safely was no longer guaranteed. Okay. What do you think, guys? I freaked myself out now. I scared myself, you know? Yeah, exactly, JC. Not every light you see in the darkness is meant to guide you home, no. You know, Alina, yeah, OMG. So, fairies, you need to be careful, you know? Yeah? Lema, I brought back memories, yeah? Hello, Walshikas. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, ¿y tú? Rezi, people from your country are very similar to people from my homeland. Yeah? The same folklore temperament? Yeah, Rezi? Really? JC, the big scary fairy, yeah. I can't recall when was the last time I heard someone pronouncing party with an Irish accent. You, yeah? Party? Party? Christian Dior, hello! Long time no see. It's meant that they knew what happened again. Yeah, they exactly, JC, yeah. The fairy house. Okay, guys. And we, yeah, so pint is pretty big, you know? Um, okay, guys, yeah. I hope they won't block the stream, Mr. Foster, no, for telling a ghost story. I don't think so. I hope not. Okay, Ray, I hope you liked it. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, Greta, I hope you won't have nightmares. Okay. Let me see. Miss Tanneman, you were scared, yeah? Okay. Mario, so you liked it. I'm glad, Mario. You won't sleep tonight. Oof. Yeah. Hello, Alvin. Sadly, not in the mood to use challenging. Okay, glad, Alvin. I'm sorry uni was challenging. I'm glad that we could give you some positivity. Hello, Elizabeth. I'm glad you liked it. Ray, okay. I will prepare more stories, okay? Now, Monday. Monday what? Okay, guys. So, he shouldn't have drunk so much. No, Cassia, he should not have drunk so much. But, you know, in Ireland, we have bad weather and we were very poor and there's not a lot to do. Ray, I do. Ray, it's the same name. Ray, it's English with Vikki and everything is recorded. So you can watch back as many times as you want. Or if you want to review something. Next class. Well, I think, guys, at the weekend, it won't be because tomorrow I'm going to this. I can show you guys where it is, will I? Hang on a second. I can show you guys where I'm going if you're interested. It's called the Beast of Beara. Maybe it's interesting for you guys if you ever travel to Ireland. So this is the oh gosh, how can I now make the screen bigger? I can't. I don't know. Gereda, maybe can you help me? No. Nobody. I don't know how to make this. Oh, I don't know how to make the screen fit in the Wait a second. Meme told me something about this. Meme, you legend. I was practicing meme and now it fits. Did you see what I did? Meme, you better still be here to see what I did. I figured out how to minimize the screen. This is because of your instruction, eh? Meme's here. I hope he's here because he's the one who told me how to do this. Or he suggested and I figured it out and now I did it. Okay? There's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. I mean, we can tell Meme I did the next time. So this is the race. Thank you, Alina. The instructions, JC, were terrible at the start because they were the instructions for the wrong computer and I was totally confused. But then I got it. Cole, I don't know where Cole is. I'm totally worried about Cole. I think everybody should send Cole an instant message to ask where he is because I don't know. I sent him a message, but he wrote back maybe last week, but I don't know where he is, honestly. I'm not sure. He's lost. Maybe he's on holidays. So this is the place. This is the map, guys. Look, can you see the elevation? So this is the first peak. It's 247 meters. Then it will be down, then a small one. Then 208 meters, then down. And at the end, 346 meters. And then down, down, down. And then a small peak at the end. So let's see. And I can show you the area. It is, it's called Beara Peninsula in Ireland. And I recommend seeing this place, yeah. So, I live here in Cork. And this is the Beara Peninsula. It's really beautiful. So the race is here. Look, can you see that? Yeah, you can see in the background the mountains. Well, mountains, Irish mountains, hills. So yeah, this is the race tomorrow. So basically, JC, to get back to this, I'm going with my family tomorrow to do this, and we are staying there until Monday morning. And then we're coming back on Monday, and then I have work. I have a lot of classes on Monday, a lot. Um, so we will see. But I will try to at least record a video for you on Monday. I recorded a few videos today, 2 or 3. So we will see. So that's and then I will be back for sure. After that, I will be back. But yeah, so that's the story. I'll miss you guys, but anyway, it's only a few days. I will be back. Let me see. Alvin, he's on holiday. I think he's on holiday. Thanks, Alina. Awesome. Or is it vacationing? He's holidaying or vacationing. For holidaying is more British, I think, Alvin, and vacationing's more American. They're the same. Elizabeth, you like the legends. You love your Ireland. Yeah, you lived in Limerick 1 year. Yeah, that's awesome. Really cool. Hello, Rosie. Okay, Swazi or Alvin, do you get a trophy? I think you get a trophy if you win. I don't think I'm gonna win, eh? I would like to finish and to be in one piece and do my best, but not put myself at risk. It's my first half marathon trail, eh? I have done half marathons before, but I've done trails before, but I've never done a half marathon trail. So I've never done a half marathon with 700 meters elevation. So I don't want to put myself at risk and push too hard, you know. So yeah, be safe and enjoy. So maybe a medal. I think there will be something at the end. I think there will be something at the end, Alvin, like probably a medal. If I get a medal, I will show you guys. I will show you next week. JC, take this piece of advice. If you pass by a bend and see a light dog on it. Yeah. So if I see any lights, I won't go. Like I won't veer off. But I don't know, Saturday night, if I have a drink, I don't drink a lot anyway, so. But I imagine I can see a celebratory drink on Saturday night after this effort. But hopefully I won't fall into any ditches. Mario, I totally understand you, but I'm still scared about the listening part to the Cambridge exam. The problem, Mario, yeah, they have a lot of like, what's Vicky's favourite food? And then Vicky will say, I really, really love chocolate. Chocolate is a fantastic thing to eat. It makes me feel so good when I eat it. However, there is one thing that makes me feel better, and that is peanut butter, you know? So the answer would be Vicky's favorite food is peanut butter. So Cambridge does do this type of trick. So you always, if you think you hear the answer, you must always listen to the next 2-3 sentences to make sure that the speaker doesn't contradict what they have just said, you know? Mr. Foster, are you a competitive person, Vicky? I am extremely competitive with myself, yes, but I'm not competitive so much. Like, I think I'm not nasty competitive. Like, I will work hard and do my thing and do my best, and I want to do my best and to make an effort, for sure, but not to hurt another person. Luckily, or not. And if somebody else wins, I'm happy for them. And I say to myself, okay, what do I need to do to be better? You know, but not like, yeah. So I'm competitive, very competitive, yes, but with myself, if that makes sense. Do you think it's that hard? The listening, Mario, the Cambridge exam? I mean, it is hard, yeah. The Cambridge exam is tricky. It's one of the trickiest listening exams, you know? So you have 2 days vacation, yeah, Alina, 2 days vacation. Thank you, Miss Tanaman. Winner to us. Oh, Alvin, that's so cool. That's so sweet. Okay. Thanks, Alvin. I love your accent. Yeah, you like the accent? That's cool. Is it allowed to use Nordic walking poles while racing? You can use the poles, but I don't use them. Yeah, and some people have them. I think my mom has ones that like you can fold up, but I don't use them because I like to have my hands free. And also it's heavy, it's extra weight, you know. You're welcome, Saska, and thank you. Okay, Mario. All Irish women are competitive. Do you think so, JC? But I think, JC, some people can be like toxic competitive. I know a few people who are toxic competitive. And I never want to be like toxic competitive, you know? JC. And JC, I feel like you know Irish women if you're making a comment like that, eh? Yep. Sometimes when I'm in a meeting, I miss what my partner says because he talks so fast. I know, Depp. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. But I mean, I'm Irish. We talk so fast. When I work with some bilingual people, and if I'm speaking to another Irish person, they can't follow what we're saying. Watch series with Irish people, because we speak the fastest. I think we speak the fastest. And English. So if you watch like gangster series from Ireland, Peaky Blinders or something, obligate yourself to watch it. Your listening will get much faster. Okay, awesome, guys. Cool. Listen, thank you so much. You guys are the best. You always brighten my day. Hey? So I'm gonna love you and leave you, and we'll see each other next week. Okay? Thanks so much for joining in, and the video is on YT. If you guys didn't catch the start or want to watch it later. JC, the only toxic competitive girl I dated in Belfast, yeah? But I'll tell you. Oh my god. Spill the tea. JC has tea. But she was English, not Irish, no? Guerrera, this is cute to Guerrera to put a smiley face in the chat. Mr. Foster, you're speaking with us now in your regular pace. Everything is understandable so far. I could probably throw gasoline on it, Bye, Mario. Yeah, JC, Belfast is in the north. Like, so we don't know if she was like Irish Belfast or English Belfast. Like, or we don't know, Vanessa, when you come back, not Saturday and Sunday. I don't think. Unfortunately. Okay. All right, JC. She was Irish. Yeah, she was Irish. I don't like toxic competitive, JC. I think you get it everywhere, eh? I think in every country you have some toxic competitiveness. It's not good. Thanks, Depp. You lived in a Catholic area, yeah? Thank you, Cassia. Thank you, Elizabeth. That's awesome. All right, Rezi. She was so Irish, she changed my name to Sean. That sounds a bit fishy, eh? JC. Have a nice... Awesome, Mr. Foster. Bye-bye. All right, guys.